As the economy struggles, we know it is struggling continually, not only here but throughout the country and throughout the world it is. We continue to see record number of foreclosures in all of our communities as hardworking families struggle to meet various mortgage payments that have grown beyond their means, and that is what is taking place. Chicago is doing better than some other cities, but still the numbers are far too high. According to the Woodstock Institute, there are 20,592 foreclosure filings in Chicago during 2008, a 48% increase from 2007. Other areas are not faring any better. Our six-county region saw an annual increase of 52%. And across the country, experts have reported anywhere from 61 to 81% national increase in foreclosure filings from 2007, and that is very, very alarming. We recognize the magnitude of this problem, its potential to slow down the progress that all of us have made in regards to all of our communities across our great city. In fact, we anticipated this problem. We began to address it years ago. I pointed out, as far as I'm aware, no other city or state, even the federal government, addressed this challenge for as long as we have. But no one could have predicted how severe the problem would become. Since 2003, in partnership with Neighborhood Housing Services Chicago and 22 lending institutions and Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, and that was in 2003, we have worked to fight the foreclosure epidemic through the home ownership preservation named HOPE. Since the program started, HOPE has prevented more than 2,000 foreclosures, reclaimed nearly 555 vacant buildings, provided counseling to more than 12,000 Chicagoans, and that is a large effort. Especially in these very difficult economic times, the responsibility of government, all forms of government, to build effective strategies to reach the borrowers and help prevent them from losing their home or even their apartment, and many of them can be rental apartments as well. Today, we are here with interfaith leaders, with our partners from Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, to announce that our third HOPE Sunday outreach effort will take place on February 15th. Through HOPE Sunday, we work with faith-based leaders to spread the word about where Chicagoans caught in the foreclosure crisis can go for help. Now, if you don't think you are, but you're going to be there this spring, you better get here to these foreclosure hearings. We want your input immediately. Don't wait until you get the notice. If you think you have problems, just please call 311 or go to one of these meetings. Foreclosures have a devastating impact upon your family and upon your community. If foreclosure isn't prevented, families will lose their home. The property likely remains vacant, then affects the whole community. These properties attract vandalism, arson, other crimes. They discourage people from ever investing in a community. Drive down a community, three or four abandoned buildings, just say, I'm not going to invest here. I'm not going to even rent here. And that's the devastating effect it has. No one sees the impact more clearly than our faith-based leaders. And so that's why many of them are here. HOPE Sunday effort will ask them to talk to the congregations and communities about foreclosure, prevention resources, so that their congregation know where to go if they're having trouble paying their mortgage. And people have trouble paying their mortgage if someone gets laid off next week or the following month or the following month. If you think in jeopardy, come to one of our meetings immediately. We want people to know that there is a trusted place they can turn for help, the City of Chicago and its partners. Before February 15th, we'll provide our faith-based leaders with a new foreclosure prevention toolkit that helps them get the word out to all their congregations. Each toolkit will contain a variety of printed materials that can be posted or distributed. Electronic documents can be placed on church websites. In addition, through HOPE Sunday, we will encourage residents to attend one of our city's borrowers outreach days, which are designed for homeowners who might already find themselves over their heads with their mortgage payments, and for those who want to make sure it doesn't happen to them. These events offer one-on-one loan workout sessions with counselors and lenders, access to free legal assistance, and information about the city's financial literacy program. We've helped more than 2,600 homeowners through 13 of these events so far. And today I'm announcing that we will expand our efforts with 6 more borrowers outreach days planned for 2009. The first 2 are February 28th at Foreman High School, April 18th at Washington High School. As always, these sessions are held in and around communities that have been hardest hit by foreclosures. We encourage any Chicago homeowner who is having trouble paying their mortgage immediately call 311 as a first sign of trouble or to attend one of our borrowers outreach events. The earlier homeowners can sit down one-on-one with their lender or housing counselor to start working out the solution. And I think people want them to work out their solutions, the better the chance of being able to keep them in their homes. Of course, in addition to 2009 borrower outreach program, Hopi Sunday events, we will continue our other foreclosure prevention efforts, such as Hopi 311 campaign, which has connected more than 7,500 residents with free credit counselors. Our early warning program, which gives homeowners facing foreclosure more time to get help. Our financial support for HUD certified credit counseling agencies. Our outreach to renters, especially renters impacted by building foreclosures, to make sure they understand their rights and where to go for help. They're paying their rent, and all of a sudden they realize that the building's been foreclosed and they're being evicted and they're being thrown out on the street. But the city and its partners need more help from the federal and state governments to prevent foreclosure, mitigate the impact foreclosure have on our local communities and, of course, our economies. The escalating number of foreclosures in Chicago and nationwide demonstrate why more must be done. And that is why we continue to call for prompt action in Washington, D.C. and Springfield. At the federal level, we continue to support legislation to allow bankruptcy judges to modify mortgage loans. Senator Durbin has introduced that, is supported by many members of the Illinois congressional delegation, members of the city council. I really believe we better look at that or someone to intervene in order to help people on their mortgage loans. We need to do more to encourage lenders to reduce the principal balance on some of their loans, especially in cases where home values have fallen. In most of the cases, home values are falling. Everybody understands it. It doesn't matter where you are, what part of this city or what part of this nation, values are going down. In addition, some of the remaining $350 billion, it's billion, not million, sorry, in troubled asset relief program funds must be used for foreclosure relief programs and to make credit available to borrowers. We're really asking for that. We support increased neighborhood stabilization program funding as part of the economic stimulus package, which can be used to acquire and redevelop a vacant foreclosed home in our communities. And this is really economic development because it puts people to work to repair that home. It brings people back into their home in these vacant foreclosed homes, not only here but throughout the country. These limited funds should be directly allocated to local governments who can most efficiently direct their use as part of the targeted revitalization efforts of our neighborhood. At the state level, we will continue to support legislation to create an industry-funded foreclosure prevention counseling fund. The federal and state dollars available now for foreclosure prevention counseling are primary one-time allocation. We believe we need the assurance of ongoing support, and that's why the Foreclosure Prevention Counseling Fund would be ongoing. We'll also continue to support legislation that expedites city's intervention on distressed condos. If you live in a condo building, say with 8, and all of a sudden you wake up and 4 of them are already vacant, abandoned, that creates real problems in the condo association right there. They're vacant, abandoned. Your value is going down. You're worried about security. You're worried about safety. You're worried about fires. And so we have discovered that a lot of these buildings were purchased through fraudulent transaction. And currently, we don't have the tools we need to properly deal with them. And that's a very serious problem. People invested their life savings into some condos throughout the city of Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois. We want to thank all of our partners, our religious partners, our business partners, and non-for-profit community organizations that really believe that the American dream is ownership of a home, and there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you very much.
You heard the figures that the mayor repeated on the Hopi program. Over 2,000 families saved since the inception of the program, 550 properties reclaimed, over 12,000 people counseled. This is huge, but in itself it's a small percentage of the huge problem that we're facing. And other things that people don't think of is that foreclosure doesn't affect me. It's just affected my neighbor. You're wrong. It affects everyone in the community. If a family is displaced from a community, schools lose students, churches lose members, businesses lose clients. Where do these families go? I mean, it affects the health of the families. You heard Father Bruce give examples of this. It affects the mental health of the family. I've had people come into our office crying, nervous. They don't know what's going to happen. They think they're going to get kicked out the next day. NHS has instituted a program where we give foreclosure classes so that we can explain the whole procedure of foreclosure. Explain how the system works, because a lot of times they don't know what's happening. They don't understand, just like they don't understand the mortgages they were put into. A lot of predatory loans out there. And it's a huge issue that affects everybody. It affects everybody. You have abandoned properties in communities. Those can become haven for gangs and crime and different things like that. We're working together, trying to stop that problem, of course, but you know, it's a huge problem and it affects everybody. A lot of things that happen also is scams. I mean, there's a lot of scams out there. There's rescue fraud. There's a lot of people asking for money up front to be helped. You know, we'll help you out of foreclosure, just pay us $1,500 up front. You shouldn't have to pay that. If you have $1,500, you would have made your mortgage payment. I mean, come on, it's common sense. You know, and yet people day by day are falling for this. Attorney General's office is closing these places down. Before when they close, there's 3 or 4 popping up. And people need to be aware that there are resources out there. There's HUD-certified counseling agents that provide the same service for free. Why should you have to pay for the same service that you can obtain for free? If you don't know of anybody, call 311. They will guide you to where to go. I mean, it's a trusted source, 311, the City of Chicago. Partnerships like this work. The City of Chicago, which is a government entity, for-profit institutions such as Park Federal Savings, Federal Reserve Bank, all the other lending institutions that put together this initiative, nonprofits, and now the spiritual community. We can work together, we can reach out to people, let them know what's going on, and the basic message is to get the information out there as soon as possible, because the sooner we intervene, the sooner the resolution, the easier the resolution. It's easier to help somebody who's 3 months behind on the mortgage versus somebody who's 7 or 8 months on the mortgage. And again, we need to get the word out. And I thank you all for being here. I'm going to introduce now someone who is an example of how this program has worked. Is a customer of ours, Ms. Wanda Evans.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I would like to first thank Mayor Daley and religious leaders and other guests. My name is Wanda Evans, and I am honored to be here today to tell you how Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago helped save my home. I live in the West Garfield neighborhood for over 30 years. I live in a beautiful 2-flat. After the passing of my mother last spring, I had to take over paying her bills, including her mortgage payments. She had an adjustable rate mortgage and the payments were going up and down. We started off at around $1,100, then it went to like $1,400, then it went back down, and then it went back up, and it finally rested at a little over $2,000. This was without insurance and property taxes. I was talking to a friend, and she told me about Neighborhood Housing Services. She told me that they were a nonprofit housing, counseling, and lending organization that has been helping Chicagoans for nearly 35 years. I met Ms. Sherry Smith of Neighborhood Housing. She's out of the North Lawndale office. I met with Sherry. She then scheduled me for a foreclosure prevention seminar. I attended the seminar. I then met again with Sherry. She got on the phone and she called my lender, which in turn, we worked out a loan modification. Before meeting Ms. Smith, I didn't know that I had options. I was scheduled for, excuse me, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
I was scheduled for the foreclosure prevention workshop where I learned about loan modification. She contacted my lender, and my mortgage is now 1604, and that's including insurance and property taxes.
All right.
They just really stressed to me at the foreclosure workshop that if you're behind in your mortgage payments, answer your phone. Do not just go and say, well, no, I don't have the money, I'm not going to talk to anyone, and just let the phone ring. There is help out there. So I just want to say to everybody, I would have never found myself in this position, and I have. And I'm letting everybody know that there is help.